What do you do when people tell you you have a voice for radio? Well, you start voice acting, of course. I'm having a conversation today with Alex. We're talking about working full time while pursuing voice acting, homemade home studios, and the future of AI in the entertainment and arts industry. I hope you enjoy. Tell me a bit about yourself, how you got into voice acting, what inspired you to start, and yeah.
So my name is Alex. I go by Right Old Wrongin online. For any Americans out there, it's just kind of like a Northern English thing. I'm neither old nor much of a wrongin, so I don't know why I called myself that. As you can hear, I am kind of what you might consider posh, if you couldn't tell by my accent. It's, English RP accents. Some call it like the Queen's English, but that just sounds incredibly posh. So received pronunciation will go with that. The reason I got into voice acting is because I've worked like a number of jobs, but a lot of them related to retail. So I interact with quite a lot of people, and a lot of people have told me you have a voice for radio, and they've also said I've got a face for radio, which was a little less complimentary. But yeah, I took both of those, and I thought, hey, I might as well give voice acting a go. I first started first did any sort of voice recording in January. It went terrible. I had no idea what I was doing, and I've just kind of been teaching myself as I go along. But no, it's been an interesting time so far.
What are some of the things that you've learned, specific or more generally?
I think that the big thing is don't be afraid to ask other people what you could potentially be doing wrong. It's like this weird reluctance to rely on other people, and I've kind of learned that learning things, working things out by myself has been very inefficient. So I've used a number of resources. It's just been learning little bits of information here and there from where I can get it.
What does your current studio setup look like?
I've got myself set up with a PVC booth, which is not common for the UK. The problem is here in the UK, if you get like PVC pipes, they're pretty much exclusive for plumbing. So you can't get like the corner joints and all that. I had to buy this specially and then just buy some cheap movers blankets. Location, location, location. If you're in an area that's extremely hard to soundproof, you might be better off like finding another spot. Unfortunately, in my little flat, it's not much of an option.
What is it like doing voice acting in the UK?
It is an absolute boon and a curse. The when you go on, say if you go on like Casting Call Club, and then they have obviously English as a language, and then
Yeah.
for like voice description it's like male adult, female adult, etc., and they don't have the accent, so you always
Or it
have
says
to
no
assume.
accent.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's no
Like,
accent. What does that mean, no accent?
right.
So I always have to assume they mean like a northern, like a general American, like a northern American, which we kind of assume is the default accent for some reason. But no, having an accent, I put that in air quotes, because of my natural speaking voice. I do proud and kind of stuck up people very well. I like to think I'm not like that in real life, but who am I kidding? You kind of have to like embrace where you might be like fit into a cliche for a little bit, and kind of build up that practice and build up a name for yourself. But I've been thankfully I've been eating well from it so far, so I can't complain. It just the no accent thing drives me crazy.
Yeah. You mentioned Casting Call Club, but
Hmm.
it can be hard for people to know, how do I audition? What do you find is the most convenient, available?
You have to tailor your own experience. So if you're on Casting Call Club, for instance, there's just like a lot of projects I'm not really interested in being part of. If you're going on a website like Casting Call Club, it's a very low barrier for entry, which is a great thing because it gives a lot of people a lot more access to create projects that they're passionate about. You kind of have to sift through a lot of projects.
Are there certain things that your projects that you like to audition for more than others?
Oh, absolutely. The ones that'll take me. No, but seriously, it would be I've already become involved in a couple of horror podcasts because again, like the posh English voice, received pronunciation, it's quite good for like certain characters in horror. especially when you've got the rich old guy going mad. I actually quite like being a part of student projects because usually there's a decently fast turnaround because it's like a smaller project. There's usually quite a few people involved. So things I found tend to move quite fast. And for me, that's been some quite good experience. I enjoy getting involved in video games, more narrative video games, because obviously they're usually a bit more wordy and there's a bit more kind of like character study in there.
What are some of the things that you've learned by auditioning?
Like reading off a script, I have to read it off like about 50 times over before I get into kind of like the right flow with it. The other thing, and this will apply to everyone, when you're doing auditions, if you just take that little bit of time to do a bit of sound treatment, sound gating, maybe even doing some leveling, depending on the project, it just makes a huge difference. Obviously, the sound quality is better, and you kind of give the impression that you actually care, like rather than just kind of like firing them off one by one. If you're auditioning, just personalize the message. If you don't personalize it to the actual character or the recording, it just kind of, I don't know, maybe that's just a personal thing, but it doesn't really come off as passionate.
What do you see as the future of voice acting? I mean, there's a lot of talk about things like AI.
I don't like AI at all. I think it's the death of creativity, really. If you're using AI to like replace like an artist, whether that be audio or visual, obviously I'm not a big fan. If you do see AI involved in a project, people scurry away very quickly. At least when it comes to VA. I don't think it's going to be the end for voice acting. There's obviously like people still have a passion for it, you know?
What is it like working and doing things outside of voice acting? And how do you balance those things?
I treat voice acting like a hobby. It is something I do during my free time. I study as well. If I'm on a lunch break and I can quickly check a project and maybe put in a couple of recordings, that's just something I enjoy. So personally, I'm just thankful I'm in the position I can do it. And if I make like a little bit of money here and there, that's just kind of a bonus for me. Just the actual voice acting itself is kind of the goal for now.